Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.
We're back in Hull to see if Sylvain Cloutier's changes have made any difference at all.
Well, they didn't on Saturday night because the Stingrays went down in Glasgow to the Braehead Clan. 24 hours later, they're back here in Hull to see whether Cloutier's men can put a halt to the charge being made by Messrs J. Galbraith and co.
It's all here. It's the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show on Sky Sports. And welcome to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. This week we've come to the Hull Ice Arena to see how the ever-improving Braehead Clan fare against the Hull Stingrays. And I'm joined as always by my partner in crime, reunited after Friday's show, by Dave Simms. Dave, good to have you back.
It's good to be back, Anna, and interesting night here tonight as well. We can find out a little bit more about these two sides.
The Braehead Clan, as I've just said, they are the ever-improving side. What do they do so right?
Well, they've got an identity and they've got quality, and I think that's what separates them from so many of the other teams. I think Drew Bannister has done an outstanding job. He realised that the Braehead Clan couldn't get the top end Brits. They couldn't attract a Matthew Myers, a David Clark, an Ashley Tate, and Mark Richardson. So what he did, he put all his money and all his efforts into signing the very best imports he can, some experienced players that he knew under difficult circumstances would be able to react. Two great defencemen, himself and Wedderburn, great forwards, and I just think he's done a good job there. They've got quality, they've got an identity, the Clan have.
Well, I've just spoken to Jason Silverthorne, which we'll hear from later on in the show. You know, he's had a pretty good season, but the Hull Stingrays as a whole haven't had a great one. Where are they going so wrong?
Lack of identity, maybe. Everything that the Clan are doing well, perhaps the Stingrays aren't doing as well. They do lack a little bit of an identity here. You think of the Braehead Clan, you think Krestanovich, you think Jade Galbraith. You know, you think those top
experience in the squad.
Yes, that Bayrak, the way he's playing. You think the Hull Stingrays, and it's like, yeah, it's Jason Silverthorne doing his thing, it's Tendler doing his thing, Boucher, the goalie, who has had a great year. And you know, I mean, without Boucher, I think Hull would have just been off the Richter scale altogether. I just feel they lack a little bit of identity. Good word.
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi.
The Braehead Clan, though, they're coming in tonight's game with 4 straight wins. They beat Nottingham in the week and the Hull Stingrays last night. Great track record for
Well,
them.
exactly. That's what we say about the Braehead Clan, that they may not have this depth, and we've said that right from show one, but what they do have is quality. Look at the highlights of the game when Braehead went to Belfast. 14 shots, 14! That's all they put on the Belfast Giants and beat them, because when those chances come, quality pays off.
They certainly do. Well, we'll see plenty more of the highlights from tonight's game later on this show. But time now to head back to Friday, where our live game took place. It was the Coventry Blaze versus the Sheffield Steelers. Chris Ellis has all your highlights.
Last Friday's live game promised so much, but in reality, it was a little one-sided in the end. First period action, and Luke Fulgham, the former Blaze player, frees up the puck with a hit, and then he finishes off the move. What a finish! Takes it round the netminder, basically, just falls in and scores. 5 minutes and 47 seconds gone. 20th of the season. Finity and Phillips with the assist, but look how he puts his former teammate out of position. So that was 1-0 inside the first 6 minutes. Coventry in the attacking zone here. Phillips tries to keep it in the zone, but he's undone, and that sees Le Gui come forward right-hand side, 2-on-1 break, gives it to Ramsey. That takes the deflection. Hurst tries to get a piece of it. He can't do so. So a 16th of the year for Ramsey, and Sheffield led by 2-0 in a very important game for the Steelers as they bid to close the ground on Nottingham and Belfast. Of course they have games in hand. So Coventry were looking for a fight back, but they weren't going to get it. Stevenson with the shot off the backboards, and it is Phillips, a third of the season. He's had some time out injured again, hasn't he? But now 3 goals this season. First to react to that puck getting in front of Kral. It's 3-0 Sheffield Steelers, and Paul Thompson had to call a timeout. Legree going forward again, looking for goal number 4. This time Hirsch closes the door and he is denied. Legree, of course, is having a great season, but this time Hirsch manages to get a piece of it and keeps the score at 3-0. Coventry, well, we are into second period action. Delayed penalty here, so we see the extra skater on, and Coventry start to move the puck around quite nicely. It's Wood. Wood is denied. It falls loose, but Wood is the man with the shot. Then there's some push and shove, and the linesmen Kieran O'Halloran and James Kavanagh get involved just to break that one up, so we stay at 3-0. Wood again from right side this time. More chances for the Coventry Blaze on the power play. Wood once more, and then Guthrie goes towards the net. Plenty of chances for the Coventry Blaze. They begun to get some momentum on the power play. Wood from right side, and again he's denied. So here you see the shot coming in. Big shot there. Stevenson dives out the way, and it stays at 3-0. So at least the Coventry Blaze were beginning to look lively. Shots on goal in the game. Well, Coventry had 48 shots compared to Sheffield Steelers 31. So certainly Coventry had their chances, but Paul Thompson after the game said his side weren't clinical. In fact, after the first period, speaking to him, he was a very, very angry coach and said his side totally let him down. Second period action, Tate, lovely move, steps inside for Ramsey, a 17th of the season. It's 4-0 Sheffield on the power play at 30 minutes and 45 seconds. Truly was game over at this stage. Bit of push and shove in front of the net, or just to the side of John de Caro. Farmer getting involved. Look, he's having a word with Thomas. Thomas asks him, does he want to go? The two of them do start pushing and shoving. More like face washes with the glove, isn't it, really? But there's smiles down there. More, I think, on the faces of the Sheffield Steelers because of the scoreline. Now Coventry coming forward. Can they get some momentum? Domish with the shot. Rebound. Jernick is the first to pounce. A third of the season. He waited a while for his first goal, and now they're coming a bit like buses, aren't they? McLean with the other assist, and it is 4-1. So Coventry Blaze get on the board. In that second period, as it drew to a close, Coventry got some momentum, and it really was their best chances of the game, but they weren't able to find a way through. They did have a chance there. It was Phillips, actually. Look here. Shoots. Glove save from De Caro. So they are denied once more, are the Coventry Blaze. Still looking for more chances. This time it's a Guthrie left-hand side. Cowley winging the puck in. Shot comes in from right side. Oh, and Guthrie goes there, and Kral thinks he scored. That one looked as though it was going over the line, but it didn't. Look, the shot comes in from Farmer, and then Guthrie with his stick. You see it once more. Farmer, maybe a high stick anyway from Guthrie, and Kral puts his arms up. He thinks he's scored. And in the end, it was a 4-1 game. Ryan Finnerty, a very happy player coach. Coventry 1, Sheffield 4. You looked a very, very frustrated and angry coach.
Well, I was. You know, when you think what's on the line tonight and the tight game it was, and we really needed to get ourselves back into the championship running. I thought in the second period we created 7 or 8 good chances that we didn't take. And we missed the net on 3 good occasions from 10, 15 feet out. The third period, they shut us down, and I didn't see the desire and the effort and the commitment that I expect from my boys. And, you know, we've played very, very well the last couple of months, but that's without doubt our worst game of the season tonight. I'm very, very disappointed.
So, Dave, what did you make of that game? Paul Thompson said before the game the players needed to come out fighting, but from what we saw, they just didn't do that, did they?
Didn't show up at all, did they? All through the week, Paul Thompson was saying this was the game that was going to get the Coventry Blaze back in the title hunt. It's not a 3-horse race, it's a 4-horse race, he kept saying to me. He led his team to the water. His team didn't want to drink it. They came out and they were lacklustre. They
Within
couldn't
that
make
first period, the 7 or 8 minutes in that first period, it was pretty much gone then.
While commentating on the game, you just couldn't believe it. You know, they had a couple of chances. They were missing clear-cut chances. I know Guthrie's injured, but he missed 3 or 4 times when he never even hit the net. Bakralik was out of sorts. it was just a poor show all round from the Coventry Blaze, and that's what frustrated Tomo. That's why he gave such an honest interview as he did at the end of the first period.
Absolutely, understandably so. I mean, the Blaze, they needed to win that game, didn't they?
Had to win it if they were going to get back in the title hunt and be a serious title contender. But it's a weird league, Ganna, because the Coventry Blaze have got the Nottingham Panthers number. The Nottingham Panthers own the Sheffield Steelers right now, and the Sheffield Steelers completely control the Coventry Blaze. It's weird.
Exciting, though.
Exciting, very.
Great win for the Steelers, though. That was their first game out of 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3 nights for our Infinity side. Every team's got to play the same amount of games. They all have to play 3 and 3. Sheffield maybe have to play 1 or 2 more because of their Continental Cup exploits earlier in the year. But Infinity would have been glad to get that first win under his belt.
Certainly so. Well, let's get back to tonight's game here in Hull. And Dave has been on about all year about the lack of depth in the Braehead side. Well, a couple of youngsters in the lineup of Adam Walker and Matt Hayward. Dave caught up with him earlier to see how they're getting on.
Well, boys, it's been a good start for the year for the pair of you. Both have equalled last year's goal tally. What's it been like being at the Braehead Clan this year?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's. For me personally, it's. I managed to get off to a bit of a quicker start, which is always helps. But you know, we've got some really good players at the team this year as well. So it's been pretty good so far. Yeah.
It's an experienced team that you've got here, Matt, isn't it? Has that helped, if you like, you two younger guys?
Oh yeah, it's definitely helped me. Like, learning from people like Jay Galbraith and Jordan Kristanovic, just watching how they play and then just trying to do my best to keep up with them and hopefully just helping them out as much as I can.
Second season for the pair of you at the Clan. I'll start with you, Matt. You know, you came through the Sheffield ranks there. You played that handful of games for the Steelers. What was it that made you go, well, I'm not going to try the Sheffield route, I'm going to get out of town and go up to Glasgow?
Well, I got an opportunity I went over to Canada with Corey Nielsen. And obviously with Neil Black being the owner of both teams, I got an opportunity when Bruce Richardson became coach to move up. Yeah, I thought there's no better way to crack into the league. I can come in and just try and take off from there. I didn't really think about anything else.
And once you came through the Kirkcaldy ranks, if you like, at Fife, you kind of fled the nest, and Guildford, Swindon, and then those 3 great years in Manchester. But why back then to Braehead?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was, you know, I had 3 good years in Manchester, and then I had 1 in the EPL, which had a really good year there. So for me, I just thought that I needed to come back and make the step up again, and you know, it was close to home. You know, my parents hadn't seen me play that much for the last 7 or 8 years, so it was nice to come a little bit closer to home for them to see me play. And you know, there's no better way than for a new franchise as well to get going.
And has it been for the pair of you better that you actually went to a team that hadn't got an Ashley Tate, a David Clark and Matthew Myers, where you two guys could be the guys that played in those critical situations? Has that helped you and your development?
Yeah, I think in a way it has. I mean, it's always nice, you know, if you were to play with someone like a David Clark or like myself when Tony was there, you know, it was nice to kind of learn off him. But at the same time, you know, it's nice to get the chance, you know, for yourself to be put in those situations and to do the best that you can.
And there's no reason, Matt, why you then can't become the next David Clark, or you develop into one of those more senior players.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the aim of it. That's the entire thing we're learning for. Just trying to become the best like Brit we can. Hopefully trying to be a Jason Hewitt, a David Clark, or so we can be called upon on them big situations when we need a goal with 5 minutes left. We're going to be out there on the PK or on the power play or something. And
just briefly for the rest of this year, what's the aim for the Clan? Is it to break into that top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the way we're looking at it right now is we finished 5th place last year, so our aim is to equal it or better it. So I think we have a good chance to even finish 4th place. I don't think we're too far behind. And the run we've been on lately, I think it's quite possible, yeah.
Thanks for that, Dave. Well, time now to take a break. Join us afterwards as we've got plenty more action for you from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
And welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. This week we're in Hull to see how the Hull Stingrays fare against the Braehead Clan in their second game in as many days against each other.
Time to crack on though with some highlights from Saturday night. Our man at all the games was Chris Ellis.
Belfast coach Doug Christensen in the last week or so has been named as assistant GB coach to Tony Hamd, and his side took the lead in the first period. Reback with the 8th goal of the season for him. Power play as well. 3 minutes and 8 seconds gone. Belfast this week signed Paul Denisit, so he'll return to the club. And they made it 2-0. Peacock with the 15th of the year, 14:22 gone. That was the end of the scoring in the first period. So happy times for the Belfast Giants. Neat move from Keith there, and Walton gets the final touch there. 4th of the year for him. Lloyd with the other assist. 28:58 the time of that goal. So 3-0, but back came Dundee. Lovely goal from Hutchins. Comes inside 2 defencemen. Just beats Murphy. So nice goal. Power play one as well. 31:49. It is 3-1. Giveaway there. Dowd through. Dowd's going to score there. Don't give him the puck. And it is 4-1 to the Belfast Giants. So certainly they're very much in the ascendancy. Dundee did score again in the third. Dolan getting his 10th goal of the season. But the Belfast Giants were never going to lose that one. Lloyd on the doorstep of 14th of the year. So at that stage, it was 5-1 Belfast. Had they time to get another goal in the game? They did. A free-flowing move. And in the end, it's Mason from right-hand side, attempt of the year. Final score, Belfast 6, Dundee 2. The first of 2 matches between these two sides at the weekend, and a short bench Braehead side took the lead. Galbraith and Wedderburn with the assist, and 1:53 in. Adam Walker, goal number 7 of the season. 1-0 Clam, still first period action and still before the 7-minute mark. Good skate from Jay Galbraith. Final touch from Chris Stanovich. 18th of the year for him on the doorstep. 2-0 to the home side. Still first period action. 10:46 gone. Neat work from Silverthorne, and then the final touch from Campbell, as 6th of the year for him, so that's 2-1. Into the third session, and nice movement in front of the net. Galbraith and Walker setting up Kristanovic. 8-11 in the third session. That's a well-worked goal, and that was the end of the scoring. Braehead 3, Hull 1. This was always going to be tough for the Flyers. Short benched, of course, now no Siddle or Hamilton, but new faces are on their way and they'll make their debut this weekend against Cardiff. Skilled Slovenian forward Denis Kadik and Bakralik from Coventry. Sheffield took the lead in this one. First period, Ramsey setting up Le Gui for 21st of the season. And then, look, Tate coming forward into the offensive zone, but this time denied by Zemlak. A run of 3 games in 3 nights for the Steelers last weekend. This was the second of them. Power play time in the second session. Ramsey and Tate are going to turn the providers. Look at Ramsey here. From the left side, takes some deflections, and Le Gui gets his second of the night and Steelers' 26th power play goal of the season. Into the final session, and can Fife find a way through? Well, the puck is picked up by Seaman, comes away from 3 players for Dutium. Dutium towards goal, and Gunn scores his 6th goal of the season. It meant a tense finish, but the Steelers had enough in the tank. Brave fight by the Flyers. Final score, Fife 1, Sheffield 2.
Dave, a cracking win there for Belfast against Dundee. I mean, 6 different scorers, that's pretty impressive.
Very impressive and very important for Doug Christensen and the Belfast Giants. A 1-game weekend this weekend for Belfast. Nottingham played twice. Sheffield, as we've said, have got those 3 in 3. So that 1 game, important that Christensen did all he could. As you say, 6 different scorers. How impressive is that? Graham Walton scores again. Wally, what's going on?
Incredible. And of course, the reverse fixture of tonight, Braehead beating Hull.
Yeah, speaking with Sylvain Cloutier earlier, a couple of mental breakdowns up there. Some young defencemen here in Hull, they're learning their trade, and you know, a couple of errors early, and as we spoke about at the top of the show, the Braehead Clan, they've just got that quality, that talent, and they'll exploit you if you make mistakes. Hull made mistakes, Braehead took the points.
And what about up in Fife? I mean, that was such a close game between Fife and the Steelers. A really gutsy performance from the Flyers.
You know what? The Fife Flyers, they lose their 2 best players. Siddle goes off to Zagreb. Hamilton goes to South Carolina in the East Coast Hockey League. Most teams would fold. They'd pitch up the tent and they'd clear off home. Not the Fife Flyers. What that tells me about the Flyers is that those Fifers that are remaining have got true guts, true character, and I tip my hat to every one of them.
That's what we like to see.
Every so.
Okay, well, let's get some more action now. Here's Chris Ellis.
Cardiff went into Nottingham short-staffed, no Beerbrett, no Madska, no Voth, and for Panthers it was a case of return of the mag. Sean McCaslin returning to the club. Lepine though gives the puck away, 3-on-1 break, finished off by Stuart McRae for a 12th of the season, 1-0 Cardiff on the power play inside the first 3 minutes. But Nottingham, well, they had to wait until the second session. Lakovic, 2-on-1 break, and who else but Sean McCaslin? What a finish on the backhand. He waited 20 minutes and 50 seconds into his debut, and the man who scored 124 goals in his last 3 years with the club scored again for the Panthers. But in the second session, they were out-muscled. Great work from the Devils, and Phil Hill puts them 2-1 up in Nottingham. Short-staffed now in the corner of your screen, bottom corner. Stevie Lee assessed 2+10 for checking to the head. In comes Chris Frank, and Lee, well, he doesn't really have a chance to defend himself. This is going to be a win for Chris Frank. Gets much the better of the punches in, and Lee goes down, Frank goes down, and that was a win for Frank. Now, Nottingham coming forward, but the puck is into the ascendancy now because Braehead beats 2 men. That is a lovely, lovely, lovely finish. Braehead with his 27th of the season. It's 2-2. Lepine catches Adams in the face. 2+2 for accidental high sticks. There's blood on the ice there. Frank comes across to challenge him. He wants another bout. He wants another scrap. And it is Lepine and Frank. They're trading blows. And if you look back at the fight, maybe Lepine had the better of that one. And you can certainly tell because he's cut him. So there was blood on the ice there, blood on the ice there with Adams. And we're all tied at 2-2. And we've had a couple of scraps. Corey Nielsen going on to check about the welfare of Gerard Adams. Now, so, third period action. It's power play time from that 2+2 to Guy Lepine for accidental high sticks. And in the left circle, it's Jeff Pearce, a 21st of the season. It's 3-2 Devils in the third session. And now coming forward again, there's a break on. It's Pearce, and it is Phil Hill for a second of the game and a 14th of the season. And Cardiff take the points. Nottingham 2, Devils 4.
Thanks, Chris. You know, one of the shining lights here in Hull is forward Jason Silverthorne. He's having a great year on the ice, and earlier Anna caught up with him.
Jason, whilst the Hull Stingrays probably haven't had the best season so far, you yourself have had a pretty good one.
It's guys pretty much mixed emotions. It's been a disappointing season for us. I mean, we've had some close games that we think that we should have pulled points out of, and we should have gotten points out of those. But personally, I've had a pretty good start to the year. I mean, I've got good chemistry going with my line mates, with Derek Campbell for the full season, then Osman or Tendler, whichever one slots in on the right side. So it's been personally good, but really disappointing overall.
If you could sum up or describe the season so far for the Hull Stingrays, how would you do that?
Probably use the word disappointing again. I mean, it's really frustrating for when you see all the potential at the start of the year and then to come in and not get results. And I mean, we had a tough first 10-12 games. But there's no excuses. I mean, we played a lot of teams that we should have beaten, and we've been a lot of games that we should have had points out of, and we've found ways to lose them and ways to drop points. So it's been pretty disappointing.
You had a pretty brutal travelling schedule at the start of the season. How much of a shock to the system was that?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, you're playing hockey for a lot of years. You're used to traveling and stuff, so you can't really use that as an excuse. You just kind of go out and do your job as a professional, and as a professional, you need to pick up points and get wins, and we weren't doing that. So the travel is kind of insignificant when it comes down to it. I mean, we've all been traveling a lot of places a long way since we've been little, so it's one of those things where you just got to get past it.
What about the rest of the season? What has Sylvan said the plan is? Obviously, you want to ensure your playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal right now is we're looking ahead. We're looking past 8th. We're looking to 7th and 6th. I mean, Braehead's kind of pulling away a little bit there now, but this was a big weekend for us, and we needed to get the points, all 4 points this weekend, to pull them back in. We got a big game tonight to get those 2 points, but yeah, we're looking ahead of us. Obviously, we want the playoffs as the main goal, and to move as high as up in the standings as we can.
The Hull Stingrays team, there have been some positives though. You've brought through some really good young players, Jack Watkins, for example.
Yeah, we do have a young group, and with the amount of stuff that's been going on around here, they've been baptism by fire. Really, they've been thrown into the mix, and they've had to play regular shifts. And I mean, there's been some bumps and bruises along the way, but I think they'll all be stronger for it in the end.
Braehead tonight, how are you feeling? How the team feeling?
Good. I mean, last night was a close game. We get a few of our, costly mistakes again, and they end up in the back of our net. With a team like Braehead, they don't take a lot of shots, but the shots they do take are quality, and they got some pretty good goal scorers. So we have to limit our mistakes and try and take the game to them, below their goal line, and make sure that we wear them out, and then hopefully get some chances along the way.
And finally, you yourself have been around the league for quite a few years. How do you see it progressing as a whole?
And the league has been better. I mean, it's getting better and better every year. Sometimes you have like a blip, like my first 2 years. The third year was a little bit of a blip, and then the last few years have been, quietly improving. So I think it helps with the exposure. I think it helps with how the GB men's team is doing in the world. So it attracts more players, it attracts more attention, and the standard is definitely improving.
Anna with Jason Silverthorne. Time for a break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have more highlights from the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Very close to face-off here in Hull, but before that there's one thing I have to do, and that's of course ask you, Dave, what's your prediction? Who's your money on tonight?
Well, my money's on, well, it all depends, Anna. Which Hull Stingrays team's going to turn up tonight? If it's one that shows a bit of desire, a bit of character and a bit of identity, well then the Hull Stingrays can win this game and they can reverse last night's performance and result against the Braehead Clan. But if they don't, I just think Braehead have got a little bit too much character. I'm going to go with the Clan.
I'm going to go with the Clan too. I think they can make it a double. Okay. Well, let's see now. Chris Ellis is here with the highlights of tonight's game. It's the Hull Stingrays versus the Braehead Clan.
Braehead, of course, won on Saturday night by 3-1, so the Stingrays had some making up to do. Braehead, though, led by British netminder Mike Will, and they only had 12 skaters. First chance of the game went on the doorstep. There's Campbell. Can he squeeze the puck past Boucher? You think that it's frozen, but it's not. It squeezes out once more, and Boucher has to be at his best to make a glove save. So we see the scoreline stay at 0-0. We've been playing for just over 7 minutes in the game, and really it's quite scrappy. Both sides giving away the puck. Look, one way, then the other given away. But as you see here, a break into the zone, and the finish is by Kristanovic, a 20th of the season. Sloppy defensive play from the Stingrays. Kristanovic takes full control. Galbraith and Walker with the assist when we see the scoreline at 1-0. But no matter, just 33 seconds later, look, Hull Stingrays working well, and it is Rodin from left side, a 7th of the year. We're tied at 1 at 8:25, and the Stingrays can celebrate. James Pease, you saw there, he got an assist on that goal. Of course, come out of retirement once more to help the Hull Stingrays. So we're level at 1-1. Campbell outmuscles Kristanovic, and Silverthorne, it's 2-1 Stingrays. Short-handed as well. 9:56 the time of the goal. And it is 2-1 to the Stingrays, and they have taken the momentum back. More chances now. Look, Cloutier goes in on net, and then Watkins has a chance to beat Will. He can't do so, so we stay at 2-1. But Braehead in the second session, a well-worked move here on the power play. Kristanovic and Galbraith, who else are going to be involved? They have some neat interchanges of passes, and McPherson gets his first of the night and the 21st of the season. So we're tied at 2-2 in the second session. That goal coming just 1 minute and 1 second into the second session. The Stingrays, though, were pretty stern in the second session, and there's room in the slot there, and Davis gets his 5th of the season. 22:19, the time of that goal. Tendler and Campbell with the assist. So the game swings another way, and we see it's 3-2 to the Stingrays, and they're suddenly the happier side. But It's always butts in this game because it did swing one way and the other. Braehead coming forward with Brock McPherson, comes inside the defenceman, backhand finish. It's 3-3. Hayward and Wedderburn getting the assist. A second of the night for McPherson. So we're level. The short bench, Braehead Clan, are level at 3-3. Things got even better then for the Clan because they went on a 5-on-3 power play. So much room on the ice. Kristanovic and Bannister heavily involved. You see Bannister there with the number 7. Kristanovic's pass. Galbraith alone at the back door. 4-3 to the Braehead Clan, a 17th of the season for Jade Galbraith, and suddenly the Clan have all the momentum. The Stingrays, though, had a chance to get back into the game, and you can see from this good camera angle how the move unfolds. Right-hand side, and the man driving the door is Cloutier. You just can't get enough on it. And the man denying is the British netminder Mike Will, so that was denied there. Anyway, third period action now. Power play time again once more. McPherson scores. Hat-trick goal. Galbraith and Kristanovic with the assist. 41-34. 3 goals for McPherson. What a night it's been for him. And then the scoreline reads 5-3. Power play time at the other end. Certainly was a game littered with penalties. This one, a 5-on-4. The Stingrays really needed to get back into the game. Shot comes in from Osman, and Watkins, Jack Watkins, gets to the rebound. So 5-4, 1-goal game. You really thought maybe at that stage the Stingrays' bigger bench and extra depth for this game would tell, and they could go on and win the game. In fact, they outshot the Clan 46-29. So you can see how much of a smash and grab raid this is, because look, it is another goal. It's McPherson. It's a 4th goal. The netminder Boucher is going to want that one back, but no one in Braehead will care. It is 46-07, and it is suddenly 6-4, and very, very much it's going Braehead's favour. There was still time, though, for lots more action. Kristanovic, well, he just falls into Boucher. Boucher goes down. Players sort of ask what's going on. Boucher stays down, but then does get back up and is able to continue for the rest of the game. So 6-4 at this stage. Can Braehead make another goal out of nothing? They do, because they come forward right-hand side. Galbraith and Jorgensen assist as Adam Walker scores. 53-16, goal number 8 of the year. It is 7-4. What a performance by the Braehead Clan. Sylvain Cloutier said after the game he was so disappointed with what he saw. And understandably, really, as well, wasn't he? Because it was against a very short bench side for the Clan. Oh, chance there for Campbell to get goal number 8, but the door is shut by Boucher. But you really have to take your hats off to the Clan. It was a big win for them and sees them go 5th in the table.
Drew, that's as good a performance as I've seen from any team this year. You must be a very proud coach.
I tell you, I think, I told the guys after the game, I think that's the biggest game of the year, and I've never been more proud of a team in my life than tonight. I mean, you know, I can't be happier for Mike Will and how he came in short notice and played such a great game for us. Just ecstatic the way the guys played and stick together.
Yeah, the young guy played great in goal, but everybody played great in front of him as well. Just 4 defensemen, just 6 forwards, and they never gave up all night, did they?
No, and you know, like I said, we've been short all year and we found ways to win. Guys are starting to believe, and like I said, you know, as long as we come to play, stick to our systems. The guys in my dressing room that are ready to play, they come and play hard every night, and they deserve everything they've gotten.
How good is it for you as a coach to know that you've got guys buying into what you're trying to build here in Braehead?
And you know what, it's a progress, but you see it coming day by day, and like I said, we can all feel that we're a very confident team right now, and we're starting to buy into what we're talking about as a team and the goals we've set. And as a coach, like I said, I'm very proud of my hockey team right now.
Before the game, we spoke to Adam Walker and Matt Hayward, and crikey, aren't they improving and getting better with every game?
You know what, like Maddie and Adam, again, you've seen how great they've been playing for us, and they've stepped into roles that last year they didn't have. They're playing with a ton of confidence, and they deserve the ice time they're getting.
Bobby, you drew the short straw to come out and speak to us. What's the feeling like in the dressing room right now?
Well, it's not very good. Obviously, we lost 2 games to Braehead. We thought we could have wee chances, and we expected to try and get some points out of both games. And especially tonight, we've come out flat. We should have been going, we should have been dominating the game. We've outshot them. And for long periods of play, we outplayed them. I think we had more possession, but we just couldn't score goals. We were just turning pucks over.
Just being by your dressing room, you're obviously a bit disappointed with a few of the refereeing decisions, especially the third goal that Braehead scored.
I'm very disappointed with it. It's pure goalkeeper interference. Bannister's not even looking at the play. He's bumped into our goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper's gone back before the puck's even got in the net. And referee standing in the corner watching it, saying nobody touched him.
On the flip side of that, you've been beaten by a backup goalie and 10 skaters and 2 line hockey on a Sunday night, having played again on a Saturday. It wasn't good from Hull, and the people here deserve better, surely.
Oh God, yes, fans deserve better than what we're producing just now, and nobody else can change it. We're the only guys in that room. We're the people that change it. We've got to pick it up, get on with it, move forward, and see where we go from here.
We're in January. We could have said that question in October, November and December. What can you do in January, though, to pick it up?
Well, obviously we're still short of an import. We're looking, we've spoke to a few people, see where we go. We're going to try and bring somebody in, and if we can, we'll do that business.
Okay,
and Sylvain Cloutier in there with his team right now. What's he saying to them?
Well, obviously everybody's heads are down, and it's just we've got to regroup as a unit, get everybody back there together. We've got to get games for this weekend to look forward to. We've got to take it from there.
So a rather disgruntled Hull Stingrays team there, and quite rightly so. What a performance from the Braehead Clan here tonight. Plenty to digest after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports, where we've just seen the Hull Stingrays outclassed by the Braehead Clan. Now, at the top of the show, I said we'd come here to Hull to see if Sylvain Cloutier's changes have made any difference at all. And Dave, from what we saw tonight, I don't think they have.
Haven't made any difference at all, have they? It's the same Hull team, September, October, November and December, all the way through here. They were second best in every department. Bobby McEwen, in the interview, he complains about a couple of refereeing calls, but, you know, don't go down that road, Hull, because tonight refereeing was at least of your problems. The problem was you were outclassed and outplayed by a backup goalie, 4 defencemen and 6 forwards playing the second game in 2 nights.
Experience was just all over the shop from the Braehead Clan.
What did we
tonight
say at the top of the show? We said character, we said identity. The Braehead Clan had both. The Hull Stingrays had neither.
Well, I've just been into the Hull Stingrays dressing room to try and get an interview with Sylvain Cloutier, and clearly it's not a happy camp in there.
And the very fact that Sylvain has said no to the interview and he sends Bobby McEwen, poor old Bobby has to come and talk to us. You know what? My view is that Sylvain Cloutier should have come and spoken to us. This is the time when everybody associated with a club, they want to hear from its leader. They want to hear from the man at the helm. And they don't want the answer from the man at the helm to be, no, I don't want to speak to you. Sorry, Anna.
But still, we have to look at the Braehead Clan. 2 wins in 2 days for them, and a great win for them tonight. They're going to be going home a very, very happy clan.
Let's just go through it again. It's not just 2 wins in 2 nights, folks. It's 2 wins in 2 nights with 4 defencemen, and young Ajax is one of those 4. Yep. It's 2 wins in 2 nights with 6 forwards, and young Hayward, and young Walker, playing a great part. All that travel, 2 lines against 3 lines. I'm telling you now, it was a fabulous performance. A word for Frank Morris as well, the bench coach of the Braehead Clan. I stood by their bench. Every shift, young Ajax came off, an arm round him in encouragement. When Walker comes off and Hayward, it's Kristanovic or Galbraith encouraging them. That is a unit, that is a team so locked tight together right now. Drew Bannister, a credit to you, absolutely marvellous job.
Absolutely, and I love it when you get excited too.
Well, I get excited when people care, and you can tell the Braehead Clan care right now and are really trying to make it work. So that's when I get excited, when people show that enthusiasm for their job and that desire and will to win.
Absolutely. Well, time now to get the last little snippet of action for you. Here's Chris Ellis.
Coventry looking to make amends after their disappointing showing in front of the live Sky cameras against Sheffield, and Dundee, well, they're really just looking for a win, with the playoff places beginning to slip away. Push and shove here, Turner involved for the Dundee Stars and Wishart for the Coventry Blaze, Woosang Park and Robert Farmer. No real punches thrown there. Then McLean tries to get towards the net, and once more we have a wrestling match. All sorts of players getting involved, maybe a few more punches thrown, but nothing really to write home about. and that one is broken up. So no goals at this stage, no goals actually in the first period. Into the second session, and Greg Owen here at the heart of this move, dumps the puck into the offensive zone, then gets it. Look, he works the boards really well, and then Weaver comes out, makes room, and that's his first goal of the season for Weaver. The other assist going to Bakarlik. That was his final assist before being released by the club. McLean has it behind the net. He just waits and holds on to the play. It's good movement from the Coventry Blaze on this power play, and Weaver goes towards net and touched by Fussy, a 23rd of the season. The other assist to Domish, and that is 2-0 to the Coventry Blaze. Weaver recovers the situation there, and Coventry go offensive once more. This is a good movement from them, and Woolhouse Park tries to get goal number 3, but Whitley, who faced 36 shots in the game, makes another save. So that's 2-0 at that stage. Now more third session action, and the clock is ticking. Actually, we're into the final minute. Woolhouse Park has it behind the net, and it's out in front, and somehow Farmer sneaks it in with 51 seconds to go. Dundee 0, Coventry Blaze 3. Scott Matska returned to the Cardiff Devils lineup, but they're still without Voth and Beerbread for this one. Corey Nielsen goes behind the bench and misses his first Panthers game since joining the club in 2006. Sami Rainanen comes back into the lineup and sets up Brandon Benedict. First goal of the night, 6:15 gone, power play goal, a 15th of the season for Benedict. 1-0 Nottingham then in the first period. At the other end, room for Chris Frank, left-hand side. Kowalski saves, and then he saves from the rebound for Matska, so he keeps that one out, and 1-0 Nottingham. Fox coming forward for the Panthers, then bumps into Chris Frank. Frank doesn't like it. The two of them push and punch each other. I think Frank wanted to get to know all of the Nottingham players this weekend. Other players get in between the two, and that one is quickly diffused. Harima gives the puck away. Jeff Pierce steps in, and McRae, another save from Craig Kowalski. One of 26 saves he made on the night. And Nottingham, of course, still leading by 1-0. But then power play time for the home side. Period drawing to a close. Jeff Pierce involved, shot from Van der Beeken, and eventually Phil Hill scores. It's his third goal of the weekend, a 15th of the season. We're tied at 1-1, so all square at the end of the first period. Then Rainanen sets up Harima, chance there, but Stevie Lyle denies him. So we stay at 1-1 into the third session, and Nottingham began to go stronger as the game went on. Fox, great skate from him into the offensive zone. Harima involved. It comes out from behind the net, and in front is Beauregard. 2-1 Nottingham, 28th of the season for Beauregard. Nottingham ahead just about halfway through the final session. Now Matska hesitates. It's picked up by Matthew Myers. He falls as he shoots, but the former Cardiff man makes it 3-1 Nottingham. Empty net situation now, big face-off for the Cardiff Devils, but they can't get control of the puck. And who's that skating left-hand side? It's David Clark, inside for Myers. He scores his second in just over a minute, and Nottingham take the points. Cardiff Devils 1, Nottingham 4.
So a brief recap of all the results, starting with our live game. The Coventry Blaze 1, the Sheffield Steelers 4. A home win for the Belfast Giants, 6-2 over the Dundee Stars. Braehead 3-1 over the Hull Stingrays. Sheffield winning in 5-2-1, and a surprise victory for the Cardiff Devils at the NIC, beating out the Panthers by 4-2. 24 hours later, here was the Panthers getting revenge with a 4-1 win in the Blick Boom tent. The Dundee Stars being shut out at home by the Coventry Blaze 3-0. The Sheffield Steelers coming from behind to beat the Edinburgh Capitals 4-3. And our game here in Hull, seeing an outstanding performance by Brock McPherson and the Braehead Clan. A 7-4 victory for Drew Bannister's team. And that victory for the Braehead Clan sees them jump above the Cardiff Devils into 5th place. As you were at the top of the league, the Belfast Giants, with just their one game this weekend, lead the way. Nottingham, Sheffield with all those games in hand, and then Coventry, Braehead and Cardiff. Is there any hope for Dundee and Fife? Can they make the playoffs? Well, we'll wait and see.
So if you're thinking of taking in a game or two over the weekend, here's what's coming to a rink near you. On Saturday the 14th of January, Belfast face Coventry, Braehead take on Nottingham, it's Fife v Cardiff and Hull v Edinburgh. Move on 24 hours on to Sunday the 15th of January and it's Coventry v Hull, Edinburgh v Cardiff, Nottingham take on Braehead and Sheffield face Dundee. On Wednesday the 18th of January, Cardiff take on Sheffield and Braehead face Fife. Well Dave, one of the games that stands out for me there is on the Saturday, the Hull v Edinburgh game. How do Hull bounce back after tonight?
It's not a matter of how they bounce back, they just have to bounce back. They have to repay the fans, the coach, the owners, everybody, because tonight was woeful, it wasn't good enough. They have to beat the Edinburgh Capitals, so if you are in the Hull area, come out and support the Stingrays, but really it's the players that are... It's up to the players to get behind you, not the other way around.
Well, another game that stands out is on the Wednesday, the other Scottish derby.
Yeah, Braehead and Fife. Poor old Fife. There are a couple of players down. I do know that Fife are trying to sign new players right now. Kirkcaldy faithful, your team needs you and big style. Get behind Todd Dudiam and his team. And I honestly think, with that great passionate supporting Kirkcaldy, the Five Flyers might just upset the Braehead clan.
You sound like you're doing a little PR campaign and the war.
Well, you said I got excited before. I get excited for people that care. And the people in Kirkcaldy, they care. And I feel for them right now. They're going through a bad time, so get behind the Flyers.
OK, well, there's just time to tell you now when we're on next. We're on next Friday, the 20th of January at 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 4. Well, that's just about all we've got time for tonight. All that's left to say is thank you from Dave and myself for watching. We've certainly enjoyed watching the game tonight. Braehead have set that hockey bar high.
They have indeed. It was a privilege to be in the same building as Drew Bannister and the Braehead clan tonight. They were truly outstanding.
They certainly were. Well, we'll see you next week. Good night.
Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.